Hi guys, Mrs. Anya here. Hope you're doing well. This week is all about interpreting data. So we're going to be looking at answering questions that relate to pie charts, line graphs, and bar charts. Okay, so our first question is all about information that is being shown in a bar chart about the number of matches won by different Premier League teams. So you can see along the horizontal axis, you have the name of the clubs, and on the vertical axis, we have the number of matches won, and we can see that the scale is going up in twos. Okay, so first question, what club won the most matches? I'll give you time to have a, in fact, if you want to have a look at these questions first and pause it here, and then I'll come back to check you've got the right answers. Okay, so back to question one. What club won the most matches? So we can see that we're looking for the tallest bar here, as that will indicate the highest number, and that is Chelsea. And if we have a look at our vertical axis, we can see that Chelsea won 26 matches. Okay, question two. What club won the least matches? So here we're looking for the shortest bar, and we can see really clearly that the shortest bar is Liverpool. And so if we go across from Liverpool, we can see that they won 18 matches. Okay, the next question says, how many more matches did Arsenal win than Liverpool? So we're going to have to do some kind of quick calculation here. So we can see that Arsenal won 22 and Liverpool won 18. So we need to work out the difference between 22 and 18. We do a simple subtraction. 22 take away 18 is 4. So we can see that they won 4 more matches. Move these off so you can see as well. And the last question says, what team won 19 matches? So here we just have to be really careful because our scale is going up in twos. 19 is actually not written on our scale, but we know that 19 is halfway between 18 and 20. So if we do the opposite this time, so we draw a line from where we know 19 is and look for what bar it's there, and we can see it is Tottenham. So we can see that Tottenham won 19 matches. So that's a real quick way of having a look at bar chart questions. Next, we'll have a look at line graphs. So here you can see a line graph showing the time taken for a cyclist to ride between London and Brighton. So, and line graphs tend to be, we tend to use them for showing something over time rather than discrete data. It tends to be continuous. So the first question is, how far had they traveled at 1 p.m.? So what we need to do, I'm going to use my little arrow here. So from 1 p.m., I'm going to go up until I hit my line graph, which is there. And I'm going to go across from that point to find where it hits my miles. So I can see that it is 25 miles. So at 1 o'clock, they traveled 25 miles. Okay. Next, 15 minutes into the ride, how far had the cyclist traveled? Right, so now we need to look at the time axes down here on the horizontal axis, and we can see that we've got 11 a.m. here and 12 p.m. here, and we've got a few jumps in between. So I know straight away that halfway in between that would be 30 minutes, that'd be 11:30. So then 15 minutes must be half of that, so it's here. So I'm looking right here, going to get my arrow again. So they started at 11, so 15 minutes later, they are here. And if I go across again, I can work out what this number is. So it is halfway between 0 and 5 miles, which must be 2.5 miles, 2.5 miles. Okay. Next question. What time did they stop for a break? Now, a line graph is showing their distance over time. So anytime that the line flattens out, it means that they are no longer traveling, but time is still passing. So we can assume that they're on a break. And the only time that happens is right here. Let's draw a circle around it so you can see clearly. Right here, they're not moving. So if the question is asking me, what time did they stop? So if I go from the start of their break straight down, that gets me to halfway between 1 and 2 p.m. So that must be 1:30. And it lasts until halfway between 2 and 3, which is 2:30. So what time did they break? They stopped cycling at 1:30, And how long was it for? It was between 1:30 and 2:30, so it was for an hour. So you can see the answers for those questions right there. And the last question is, how many miles did a cyclist travel between 2:30 p.m. and 4 p.m.? So this time we're going to be going up from our time at the bottom. So we can see at 2:30, just when they finished their break, they were at 35 miles. So I'm going to go across here now, 35 miles. And at 4 o'clock, so let's go up to find where 4 o'clock is. And then if we go across from 4 o'clock, we can see that they traveled 50 miles. So we basically need to work out how much distance was in between these two times. So we basically do from 35 to 50, how many miles has been traveled, and we could do 50 take away 35 as a subtraction to work out the difference, and we get an answer of 15 miles. You can see there. Okay, so you just have to look, when it comes to line graph questions, you just have to sometimes look at the scale, whether you might have to work out in between values, and have a look at what the question is asking you. And lastly, we're going to have a look at pie charts. So here we have two pie charts showing how children get to school. So we've got one pie chart, which is Ridley Primary School, and that's our pie chart there. And we've got another pie chart for a different primary school, Travern Primary. And the options are walk, car, scooter, or bicycle in both schools. So we have Trey, who's looking at these pie charts, and Trey thinks that more children at Ridley walk to school than at Travern. I want to think, is he correct? If he is, explain why. If he isn't, explain why as well. Okay, you can pause and come back. Okay, so we have Trey, who thinks that more children walk to school at Ridley. Okay, I can see why he thinks that, because it's got a big section. Yep, half, in fact, of the children walk to school at Ridley. And whereas at Travern, we can see that this fraction here of our pie chart, which is a quarter, and we know that a quarter is less than half. So I can see why Trey thinks that more children walk to school at Ridley. However, what Trey has not thought about is the number of children involved in this survey. So in Ridley, we have 80 children, and at Travern, we have 200 children. So because the totals of the schools are different, we have to think about that before we can make any assumptions on the data. So if we have a look, half the children at Ridley walk to school. And I can really easily work out what half of 80 is. Yep, by dividing it by 2. Let's just annotate this here. So I can see that 40 children walk to school. Whereas if I look at Travern Primary, so I'm still looking at that blue section, and I can clearly see it's a quarter. So now I'm working out a quarter of 200. Well, half of 200 is 100, and half of that to get a quarter is 50. So in fact, Trey is incorrect. Have a look there. Move this to the side. Yep, so we can see the number of children at Ridley who walk is 40 children, which we worked out here. The number of children who walk at Travern is actually 50. So even though the section of the pie chart looked bigger at Ridley, when you actually work out of the numbers that are involved in the problem, we can see that actually more children walk at Travern Primary. Right, hopefully you found that useful for you to do the questions set for this week. And take care, and hopefully see you soon. Bye.